Hi, everyone. Happy Black Friday. Whew, Thanksgiving stuffed me up. Hi, Voices. Hi, Care D. Hi, Tiff. Hi, Shalama. How are you doing today? Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Anyone go shopping for Black Friday, or did you just stay at home and avoid traffic? Hi, Jamie. Well, I heard some things that some people haven't been behaving themselves on here. How many times has Noodle said, don't go real life on her behalf? How many times? How many times has she said that? But some people decide to go behind her back. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Some people decide to go behind her back and start shit. That's right. Now, oh no, not you. Not you, Shalama. It's just a select few on here. I'd say maybe 3 people. They'd be, they listen every so often to me. They come in a chat. I got their names, but I'm not calling. I'm not spitting out names yet. But they think this whole Mrs. Portland thing is a joke. Well, this isn't funny. This isn't funny. It's some people have different opinions on the protective order Noodle got. I'm not going to get into that, but I have split feelings on that too. Now, it's on one hand, Noodle was getting threats, but on the other hand, you got to look at her mental capacity as a person, but you have to consider the fact that Natasha had to stick her nose into it, along with Hooker, making it more of a credible threat. So I'm just taking both sides of the coin here, and leaving it up to people to decide, was it warranted or was it not warranted? So these people, some people decide to send threatening emails to Mrs. P. I don't know the dates on these, but these need to stop right now. Okay? Don't go to Mrs. P and antagonize her just because you have a beef with her. That's right. We all thought that those emails were fake and being sent. They are real. I'm not going to get too much into emails and things, but I will say this. The Portland Archives was busted. How long ago? Was it a few months or? She was busted right-handed. She couldn't deny it. Under an alt. We all know about this. She was busted interviewing Mrs. P's family members. Yeah. She was busted. And Jamie, I was on the panel when it happened. I was on the panel when it happened. And I didn't actually buy Cindy's explanation to a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, so I'm questioning now how Noodle actually got here into this community to begin with. I'm not putting her down in any way. I'm just asking questions. Now, did she suddenly have nostalgia and Googled Mrs. P or look up her Facebook or something? And nah, I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader here. But someone from this community could have messaged her and say, "Do you know Mrs. P? Do you know Kelly Davenport?" And she came in, and we all know that Noodle and Mrs. P have this love-hate relationship. They've been neighbors, or they've been not neighbors. They lived either in the same building or the building over, and they knew each other for some years. That Mrs. P was in special ed, and Noodle was a teacher's aide, a student teacher's aide. This is stipulated. So I'm not blasting the whole thing. It's just there's some unanswered questions here on how she got here, but the harassment against Noodle is unacceptable. Everybody, leave. Can people just leave this whole thing alone? It doesn't matter how Noodle got here anymore. It doesn't matter anymore that about this and that. Yes, they had a back and forth, but she got her big pants on and she went over to Robbie and got some peace here. Hello, Manic. How are you today? She went over and they drafted a peace agreement. But as we know, Natasha and Hooker says we can't have that. We can't have peace. Where's our content? Where's our damn content and our entertainment? Where is the entertainment? This is the thing here. Everyone knows how Mrs. P is. If you get her wound up with these hate channels, I seen some videos that took it way too far. Saying Walter is cheating is the title, going after Robbie, going after Jamie. And I says, what the hell are these videos? And some of them were so stupid and they were so intimidating. Of course, Mrs. P was gonna go bonkers over it, even if they were stupid as hell videos. Because there's many facets to this thing that people don't understand. People don't understand that the hate channels, a few of them, like I'm a problem. I have a problem. She sat there and deleted some of her videos before I saw a few of them, and then they're gone the next day. Then there was what's her name? Peekaboo. Is that who she is? The one with the ghost um hoodie or whatever. That was real stupid too, and that wasn't intimidating. Yeah, and they go to Mrs. P. They tag her in these videos, and they start a problem just for the entertainment purposes, just to get her wound up. This is why I'm saying it's not all Mrs. P's fault. I'd say over 2/3 of it is. She doesn't handle herself correctly. She lies. Well, if people were calling out her behavior on here, like I do, okay, I admit I was on panel. On here, I dissect her lies, dissect her behavior. Correct, everybody? But I do not bring Mrs. P's family into it. I do not contact her family members. I'm sorry, I do not do that. I do not contact her family members. I do not involve I do not make fun of her her disabilities, physical deformities that she cannot help. And the same thing goes for Noodle. I never made fun of anything that she couldn't help, such as her teeth and oh, thank you, Manic. Exactly, Cara D. But then I look at Hooker's wall, and then she's still going after Noodle like it's a big old party. She's not condoning any of it. She's not condoning any of the abuse. It's a few stray supporters of Noodle Mash that are doing this. And they're probably doing it behind her back. Everybody. I don't know. I don't know. They just can't get over it. They just can't get over it, and they got to keep, maybe for entertainment, they got to be entertained in some manner. So then they got to send threatening emails to both parties, trying to stir up the drama again. Exactly, Jamie. Some people are stalking Mrs. P. Another group is stalking Noodle Mash. It's unacceptable, no matter who is doing it. This fighting needs to stop. How many times do I have to say, if you don't like Mrs. P, don't go on her lives and say something smart or nasty to her in her chat, right? Don't send her a threatening email. Don't call the police on her. Don't make false reports to the police on her. Don't call CPS on her. Don't contact her family members. How how simple is it? How many times do people have to explain this to people? And then when I told people to stop calling the police on Mrs. P, then we have some proud people come into my comments on my one video. Anyone can go down my videos and can find it. They proudly confess to it. Like they're proud, claiming to be mandatory reporters. And I'm saying, really? Because you suspect that she might be suicidal, you call the police? Because she posts a coffin photo? Come on here. That's not a reason to call for a welfare check. Well, Nashville, I thought she was doing that too because she does love attention. She absolutely loves attention. That's one thing about Mrs. P that we all know. But the police calls were real, though that was checked out. And she does get threatening messages sometimes that was confirmed. I'm just telling everyone how it is, the way it is. Can people just let this whole thing go already? I understand Mrs. P has hurt a lot of people on here. Okay. I'm not asking you everyone to forgive her. Let go of the hate. You don't have to converse with her. You don't have to be her friend. Just don't, like Nashville says, she loves attention too. Mrs. P loves attention, negative or positive. And then we have Noodle over here caught in the crosshairs. She's telling everybody exactly, Tisme, or Maggie May, excuse me. Noodle Mash wants this to be over with. Exactly, Maggie May. She wants this to be over with. But there's some people, including in Noodle's camp, that doesn't want this to be over with. Some people in Natasha's camp don't want this to be over with. They want this whole situation to keep going. I don't think Noodle wanted to go to court like she did either. That's just my opinion on it. Nashville, I don't think the court would have that authority. I'm not sure on that. You'd have to ask an attorney for that. I think the only thing that court had the authority to do is issue a no contact order or that anti stalking order, to be honest with you. Hi, Kelsey. Exactly, Maggie May. You don't have to leave, Care D, as long as you have an opinion. You don't have to agree with me on everything. As long as you can be respectful. My mother's an attorney, and yes, she can be, but there's a lot to it, and it's not that simple. I agree with that, Spirit. It's not that simple just to ban someone from a social media platform. Manic Stream, I have to agree with you on that. This whole situation is what you call complicated. You have many layers to it. Hi, Auntie. How are you today? Hi, Rachel. Oh, wow. Natasha said today she isn't helping Mrs. P now. Well, she didn't really help Mrs. P in the first place. Well, if she really wanted to help Mrs. P in the court situation, all she had to do is raise a little money for an attorney. At least she'd be represented in court. At least it would have been more of a fair contest, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just mind-boggling. This whole situation is can both sides of this Mrs. P situation just put this to bed? Leave Noodle Mash alone. Leave Mrs. P alone. You get what I'm saying? We're Natasha did nothing to help, really, except stick her nose in and weaponize Mrs. P for their own agenda. Really, what did she do to help? Exactly, Manic. True, Auntie. Yeah, this whole thing, it's just, I was like shaking my head. It's like, can't the fighting just stop? And can't they find something else for content? I even told several people, as long as Mrs. P behaves herself and does her crafts, I'm not even gonna bother. Yup, 'tis me. People use her. People use her, and they when some of these irresponsible channels sit there and tag her all day, and they know they're good. They know, what do they expect? She's going to go off. They know how she behaves herself. What do they expect to happen? Rachel, I don't watch Natasha unless she mentions me or it has something to do with someone I have a problem with. Other than that, I turn her off. So you get what I'm saying? Natasha's not really interesting. All she does is cross boundaries, cross all the boundaries. She goes real life, threatens to go real life on people. She sexually harasses people. She has no what's this called? Integrity. People need to understand that if people don't stop stirring up Mrs. P and Mrs. P doesn't stop stirring others up, getting them pissed at Noodle Mash, and she keeps getting threatened, Mrs. P will end up in jail. Thank you, Care D. You're absolutely right on that. And from what I'm hearing with her mental condition, she's not legally insane. So some of these people that think, well, I can stir her up, I can use her as a puppet. But if she just if they arrest her instead of us, she can just plead insane and get away with it. That's not how it works, everybody. That's not how it works. And if prosecutors really want to go hard, they'll go after the people who used her as a puppet for facilitating everything. Yes. Hmm. That makes me tis me that actually makes someone think. Creators are normal, or they should be, but Mrs. P isn't. Well, Noodle Mash is open about her problems too, so I don't think anyone's normal, to be honest with you. Thank you, Amy, for clarifying that. Amy never gave Mrs. P information on anybody, and I mean anyone. Amy's a smart cookie. Everybody, she knows how Mrs. P's mind operates in a way, and Mrs. P can't keep her mouth shut, and sometimes she can't process things. So Amy is not going to give Mrs. P anything, personal information on anybody. Hello, Shelley. How are you today? Hi, Monique. Welcome. So now we're going to go discuss Pastor Mel for a minute. Hey, Sarosa. Yeah, he's deciding to open up his big trap again. Yeah, yeah, he has a real big mouth. And he's doing it in community posts. So let's go over. Hold on. So okay, now he's going after Kim. So now he's complaining that about Kim's new nickname for him, Milton. Okay. He's been called worse. But don't call me late for supper. So I guess Kim is trying to make a homophobic dig at me, seeing her and Crafton like digging so much. So seeing that it's Thanksgiving and all, I will pay $500 to the first person who can find a clip or post where I made a homophobic statement. I will pay $500 straight to Kim and Crafton's PayPal for anyone or anyone's PayPal. I'm not joking. But I can't pay through Cash App because Canada doesn't have Cash App. Really? Really? So you get to make homophobic statements towards Robbie, telling him how to live his life, telling us how to live their life, and now you say, oh, here we go. Now you have Kim's coming out video on here. Oh, what a great job, Pastor Mel, with your passive aggressiveness here. Let's give you a round of applause here for being an asshole. Oh, nobody cares about your wrestling career, Pastor Mill. Nobody cares. Oh, wow. Now you have a video addressing Lycan and Kim and Crafton. Boo-hoo. Okay. Concerning the Kim and Crafton situation, this is what I said, Lycan. The scriptures say whatever you say about me or do me, Christ will defend me. Christ says, whatever you do to me, he will double it and put back upon you. Just an observation. Perhaps this is why Crafton and Kim are going through some turmoil. Excuse me, Pastor Mill? So now you're judging people. Interesting. Now let's go down to the next one. Here's the best one of all. Let's make sure it can come on your screen here, because this is the best one of all. Quick message to Vivian Sanchez. You decided to go on Jessica's Granny's Watching's panel to give her advice, but because of you misrepresenting Christianity and the Word of God according to the Scriptures, you have disqualified yourself in the eyes of men and God because of your past behavior. No one should take advice from you. God bless. Really, Pastor Mel. So now you're defending Granny's Watching. Oh, and now you're going after Amanda. Oh, how lovely. Now let me do a shout out to Vivian here. I'm not defending Vivian's behavior here. She did porn bomb. She is responsible for porn bombing voices. I was there that night, and I actually caught them in chat discussing it or planning it. So there's that. But here's the thing, Pastor Mel. So you sit there and judge Vivian here for her behavior on here, but you sit there and ignore Granny's shoplifting. So let me get this straight. She was on felony probation for stealing. She gets off felony probation and she decides to go shoplifting at Kohl's. Was it $1,700 or something like that? She decided to try to get five-finger discount on things she couldn't afford. Oh yeah, you forgot to mention that, Pastor Mel. She got arrested twice in 1 week, and her daddy had to bail her out. So now you're not judging Granny's watching for her behavior, sinful behavior. I see a little pattern here. So you're playing favorites and cherry picking. Who's the sinner and who's not? I totally get it now. So then, Pastor Mel, you forget her other sin. She passes around revenge porn on her ex-boyfriend. Oh, how lovely. Did you have a talk with Granny on just Granny Jessica on that one? Or did you say, "Oh, don't worry about it. I don't like Jamie either. It's okay." Is that what you said? Because he's a sinful person in your opinion? Right is right and wrong is wrong, dumbass. Wow. This guy just sits there and this fake pastor here. Wow. And then he has the nerve to call Auntie Side Eye a fake Christian. What the hell? Everyone on here has and he doesn't realize that everyone on here has their own belief system in place. And he sits there and inserts himself like he's this perfect person. Wow. This is this right here is the epitome of hypocrisy. This community post right here. So you judge Vivian, but you give Granny Jessica a pass. Wow. It's just amazing, isn't it? So she could steal, spread revenge porn, and lie about people on her channel. And you have no problem with that, Pastor Mel. And you can just sit there and blast people's sexualities and their beliefs just for content. Just amazing, isn't it? Exactly, Auntie. He supports Granny's watching. If everyone acted like him, this world would be boring. I guess he wants everyone to be saints. I don't know. But Pastor Mel isn't a saint. He's a fake pastor and a troll. Oh, welcome back, Tiff. Welcome back. Well, that's okay, Auntie. You're entitled to your beliefs. You know? You're entitled. You're entitled to you're entitled to believe whatever you like. I can't watch his videos. It's just she is a sweet person, isn't she? I saw that, Auntie. You did a great job with that, actually. Mary, you're absolutely right. There's only one judge, and it isn't Pastor Mel. Exactly. You're 100% correct on that. You're 100% correct. Okay. We all love you, Auntie. Just remember that. Oh, that's a good one, Tisme. Yeah, okay. Now we're gonna end with the drama, and we have a serious topic that's been coming up. So let's see here. Let's just get out of this window here. Hold on. So there's a case in Colorado that's been hitting the newscast, and this might be this case will have a little trigger warning. So if you're a little wheezy or whatever, just look away from the screen. So I'm going to play this now, this newscast, and then I'm going to put up a link if anyone wants to pop up and talk about this. I'm going to just say, and then afterwards I'll.
4 o'clock now on your Monday afternoon, and just in the last few minutes, a major update. In the case of that woman who was hit by a train while detained inside of a police vehicle, the district attorney just announcing charges against her and 2 officers.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Hahola has been following this case since the crash happened in September. Jeremy.
Yeah, this is pretty significant, Tom and Kim. We already reported the attorney for the woman who was hit by the train was expecting this felony charge against her. That's stemming from a road rage allegation before the collision. The officers who arrested her are also facing charges for what they did before the collision. You'll remember this happened in September. Police pulled over a 20-year-old woman named Yareni Rios Gonzalez. A man called 911 on her, claiming she pointed a gun at him during a road rage incident. As police pulled her over, one of them Platteville police officer Pablo Vasquez parked right on the train tracks. Another responding officer with Fort Lupton Police, Jordan Steinke, placed her in the police cruiser parked on the tracks. According to an announcement from the Weld County DA, Steinke has been hit with 2 felonies. That's criminal attempt to commit manslaughter and second-degree assault. As for the cop who parked on the tracks, Vasquez is not facing any felonies, but 4 misdemeanors for reckless endangerment and parking where prohibited. Yareni Rios Gonzalez has been charged with 1 felony count of menacing. She plans to fight her criminal case. In the meantime, as we've reported, she's already taken the steps to sue police for her injuries. She continues to recover at home with numerous broken bones. And in the meantime, also as well, the DA would not make any more comments aside from today's announcement because of the pending charges. Significant development.
It is a big development, but just the tip of what we're going to learn in the coming weeks and months, Jeremy.
Yeah, because there's a civil case on the horizon, and now with this criminal case, we'll see what happens to the 2 officers in court.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right. So what happened in this case was someone got arrested, probably lawfully, and the officers parked the vehicle on the railroad tracks. And a train came and hit a defendant, someone being arrested, in the back seat. And she sustained major injuries and was rushed to the hospital. Now, the officers deserve to get arrested, in my opinion, because this was beyond stupid. You don't park on the exactly, Mary. What idiot in their right minds would park on an active railroad track? Which idiot in their right mind? I'm going to say this real quick. I'm not against police officers. My uncle was a federal immigration officer. He went to work every day and did his job by the book. I have an aunt that worked for customs. She did her job and followed the rules. I am not anti-police. But in my opinion, it's not fair to them when the select few act like this and break the laws that they're sworn to uphold. Well, the one person in the news report was complaining that she got charged with a road rage incident. Well, she did get arrested lawfully. She did get arrested for road rage. So it's only fair that the district attorney charged all of them in this incident. She doesn't get a pass on her road rage because you had a bunch of stupid police officers who decided to park on the railroad tracks, didn't watch where they were going, put her in the back seat, and then an oncoming train came. Now, these officers who did this deserve to be charged and indicted. But here's the thing. I don't know why that one officer wasn't charged with the manslaughter, attempted manslaughter here. That's just the problem I'm having here. My deceased husband was an EMT, and believe me, he saw plenty when it comes to things like that cops do. Yes, and I have a cousin that's NYPD, Mary, and he follows the rules too. And it's not fair to the firefighters, the EMTs, who do their jobs by the book. And this includes corrections officers, actually. Yeah, because if my uncle and aunt did some of these things that these police departments do, they would have been fired, and their file would be on the desk of the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm serious. But some of these in the past, some of these street cops get a pass from the local district attorney. Yes, Auntie, not all cops are bad. I'd say a good 5-10% are the bad apples that get in, that actually make the real cops give them a bad name. You know, they weasel their way in. You get these sex offenders that don't get caught. You get these hotheads, and you get these real idiots with a badge, and you get these real stupid idiots. I'm serious. Yeah, there was an incident in Los Angeles that they confiscated illegal fireworks. I mean the real bad ones. This was in Los Angeles. I don't know if Tip is aware of this, but they confiscated a bunch of the illegal ones, the real explosive ones. They're probably borderline bomb material. And what they did, what the sheriff decided to do, I think this was LA County, was decided to put them all on a truck in a low income neighborhood. I'm not sure if it was black, Latino, or whatever, what the deal was, and decided to blow the truck up. Now, what happened was when the truck blew up, 17 cops were injured, plus windows blew in nearby homes, injuring others, bystanders. And then an incident, and then in the incident, they had to call EMTs and firefighters to put out the fires. Now, is that a smart thing to do? Wouldn't the smart thing to do be go in a field and blow the thing up, blow them up? Well, they were confiscated for a reason, weren't they? Ouch, Mary. Damn. Yeah, this is no reflection on the good ones that served in the military, served in, but some of these cops, there should be a zero tolerance policy on idiocy and criminal behavior amongst the ones in blue. Because the federal system is completely different when it comes to federal law enforcement. They're actually held accountable. But when it comes to these street cops, it's up to the local district attorney. And the reason why the federal government can't do things sometimes is because they're not federal offenses. He says, I'm not this fan of Black Lives Matter because I'm not going to race bait a problem saying everything's about race. No, it's not. It's about power. It's about money. Some of these cops, because I actually saw an abuse video of an African American cop being abusive. So is that actually a race thing, everybody? But you have to put yourself in the black person's shoes. There's abuse in every neighborhood. Even the Native Americans get abused. Us white people get abused. You get what I'm saying? The system is designed to make a quick buck. If you really think about it, okay, they pull people over, they give you a ticket. Exactly, Auntie. It's more of a money thing or a money grab. You get a ticket, a traffic ticket. It costs all this money. Okay, someone gets arrested. They charge you bail. That costs money, right? They pick on a lot of people, probably low income, because, okay, they can't fight back. They're less likely to fight back legally. They pick on the people that they can't. It all depends on the community, too. Because I watched a video yesterday that they were picking on Native Americans in South Dakota and white people. They're abusing the ticket system to pad the town's pockets. Race had nothing to do with it. Exactly, Auntie. It's not a race thing. This is what people don't understand. A lot of these low income people don't leave their neighborhoods that much, so they see the abusive cops, the few in the department, acting like imbeciles. So they assume, it's a race thing, but it isn't. This is why I don't support Black Lives Matter as much, because they use it as a race baiting tool, and they go into backyards. Okay, Auntie, how would I explain it to you? It's okay. Bullhorn Betty. We all know how she is. She goes into residential neighborhoods and heckles. Exactly, Auntie. Bullhorn Betty sits there, goes and harasses victims of violent crimes to fill her wallet. We call it heckling. The news media, even the reporters in Georgia call it heckling, not a protest. It isn't a protest. You don't go into people's backyards and disrupt a birthday party because you want to protest. It's heckling. Exactly, Auntie. But I'm just saying BLM works similarly as Bullhorn Betty. They use the same tactics. I think if BLM actually wanted if BLM actually wanted change here, they would actually work with lawmakers to have the laws changed. Now I'm going to play another video. This isn't police officers. This is the county sheriff in jail. Now I'm going to thank Amber Alerts for this video. I'm giving her credit for it. This has no sound on it, but you see, they aren't restraining the guy. They are beating the shit out of him. You see the guy in the gray? He's the main aggressor. Throwing punches. Exactly, Auntie. Now look at the wheelchair. What they do with the wheelchair. Now this gets worse. See that they kept jamming the wheelchair in. Yeah, there's these many incidents caught on tape on YouTube. Hi Zen, welcome. Yes, this is a correction center in Georgia that video came from, and it's absolutely outrageous form of abuse. Yeah. What I think Congress should be focused on is making excessive force more of a federal offense and making sexual relations between members of the public while they're on duty a federal offense. So when these incidents happen, right, like in a jail setting or like a police setting, they could be charged with by the U.S. attorney if the local district attorney don't take action. I think that's more of a practical solution here than all these reforms that are being proposed. It's a start in the right direction. Like the excessive. Really, Sarosa? We had one sheriff that got that was crooked here. He was called the baddest sheriff. He had what's his name in Arizona? Arpaio. He tried to be like Arpaio, but he actually was a crook. Can you say his name? The sheriff? We're trying to have a discussion here. Oh, I never heard of that guy, but I'm sure some of these. Yeah, because one of our sheriffs, this was like a county over or whatever, got indicted after I think 20 years in office. Yeah, he was abusing funds. They got him on abusing taxpayer funds, but he was actually doing more than that. What's his name again? I can't remember his name. Let me look him up. Hagee is his name. Hagee. Sheriff Hagee. He was trying to be like Sheriff Arpaio in Arizona, but he had his own style. He let rats run around the jail and everything. Yeah, I just moved down here in North Carolina when he came. He was Davidson County Sheriff. Some people can look that up. Yes. Yeah, some of these people need to understand that not all these officers are good. They need to judge the case on a case by case basis. Yeah, yes, I agree. To just hold on here. Let's. Trying to figure out how to do this. I never did a. All right. Okay, I have a poll up. Do you believe body cams are a good thing or a bad thing? In holding dirty cops accountable for their actions. This includes clear, crisp video at the police stations. Great. Got 100% on that poll so far. So exactly. Because where my aunt worked and my uncle, they worked in different departments, the brother and sister. And what it did was, and they had everything was on camera, even at the border crossings, like an airport or the bridges and everything. And everything was on tape. So if someone complained, made a false and frivolous complaint against an officer, that was on tape too. So it actually protects the police officer from a false and frivolous accusation, including recording misconduct by officers. So there's two sides of that coin too. When we have body cams record these officers, and you saw the tape in the county jail by the sheriff's department in a county in Georgia, and you saw that a few of those officers weren't that great. They violated laws, right? So okay, let's hold them accountable. Have the district attorney come in and treat them like anybody else that breaks the law. But the issue here's the issue that's been for years. Some juries sit there and say, well, he's a cop. He's a corrections officer. We need our cops. We'll just check not guilty on the we'll just check not guilty on the verdict form and let him go. It's like, even if it's caught on tape. So these prosecutors are at a disadvantage a lot of these times when it comes to picking members of a jury in police abuse cases, even when they're legitimate. Even when these cases are legitimate, yeah, a lot of these criminals, they even hang out on YouTube. So it's exactly. I believe that too. And he says, why have a police officer who sits there dealing drugs, or selling crack to kids, or raping kids, or doing whatever, right? Wouldn't you rather have an honest police officer that follows the law? I can understand if they have to be, if it's a reaction where they have no other choice but to shoot. Good night, Auntie. Good night, Auntie. Have a nice night. I'd rather have an honest police officer that follows the rules. It's not the police's job to be judge, jury, and executioner. But some people in this country, I figured this out. They like vigilante justice by cop. And they give these people a pass because they like the entertainment. They said, well, they must have did something wrong. So they just say, okay, not guilty on the verdict form, or well, they were in jail for a reason. So who cares if the cop slaps and abuses them? Not guilty. Um, it's a problem. But these officers can be criminals themselves, and that's why a lot of these crooked cops, do it because they continually get away with it. Yeah, and some of these officers don't know the difference between a cell phone and a gun. That's another thing. That's another problem. They can't tell the difference between a flat piece of hardware, allegedly, and exactly. They think they're above the law sometimes, and it's getting disgusting. And it's getting really, really bad. I'm just glad that what's his name, Derek Chauvin, got convicted when he did, because I was worried that the jury would when I was a teenager, I was at a party and I was trying to leave, and a woman office hit me. She knocked me in the back of my head of her palm and hit my head hit the door while Grandpa was a judge. Whoa, spirit. What happened? So, not a smart move. Went to court with 6 witnesses. I did nothing wrong, and she did go to jail. And I pressed charges. Grandpa wasn't the judge of my hearing, though. Of course not, Spirit, because the judge, your grandpa would have to recuse himself. Exactly. Because he would have a conflict of interest. So I'm glad that the female officer that smacked you went to jail. She was held accountable. I'm so happy for that, Rachel. It seems to be an American problem more than an Australian or British problem because I was looking into it when I was before I did this live, and the statistics over in Europe and us and down by you, there are less police shootings and less police assaults in the other parts of the English speaking world. It seemed to be the United States is the big problem here. Our officers are most street cops spend little time in the academy. They come out. Some don't even know what they're doing anymore. And they're not, and I'm not trying to put down the good, honest ones here, but isn't the point of the criminal justice system to, what's it called? Secure a conviction for the district attorney? Not get off, not sandbag the DA on a technicality, no warrant, unlawful search and seizure, Fifth Amendment violation, Sixth Amendment violation. You get what I'm saying here? I think our cops need more legal training and they need more self-defense and de-escalation training, to be honest with you. And I think that could be done. So your cops aren't allowed to have guns, Rachel, in Australia? Or are your gun laws so restrictive on what you can have and what you can't have? I don't understand Australian gun laws. That's or like British regulations. So you're gonna have to explain that for a. Yeah, this country has some states have obsession with guns. So yeah, but I saw plenty of oh, okay, Rachel, okay. So you're so the people are limited on what they can have, right? Is that a total gun ban? Is that what you're saying? Because I heard one story you can't have a firearm at all, and then I'm hearing another story that you can have some firearms, but they're like totally. Yeah, I think they need to change the statute really to self-defense. Ah, okay, Rachel. All right. Yeah, because I'm hearing different stories on the issue in Australia, so I just don't know what's real and what's not. I'm not trying to assume here. I do know Australian gun laws are very strict, as you say. So yeah, states like Australia, I think Arizona, they're like states that love their guns. We do in the rural part of our state, so it's try disarming this state. It'll be like a big, but at the same time, I saw a video in the was it the UK where there was people with machetes on the street and the cops disarm them, put them to the ground without shooting them, and then they had commentary afterwards where they says if this happened in the United States, that person would be dead. Which in a way I'd agree with that actually. So oh, okay, okay. So you're allowed to have like hunting rifles or whatever, but it depends on the weapon. Is that what you're saying? You're allowed to have one because you're farmers. 'Cause I know in a few countries in this world, cops can't even have one, which I find that to be a strange. Because in Alaska, not all cops can have one. If anyone knew that fact, only the state police can have a gun. And like, okay, and then the Anchorage police or whatever. But they have two types of cops in Alaska. They have the state police or like a local police department, like Anchorage or maybe Juneau or whatever, which is independent from the state police department, the state police troopers or whatever. And then they had the public police. What do they call them? Let me think. Public safety officers, and they're unarmed, but they do have a stun gun. So yeah, not all cops are armed actually, because in county jails, because in prisons, they're not armed either. So it's because because an armed guard can be a disarmed one, which is actually oh, you're kidding. The British police don't carry guns? I didn't know that. Okay. Well, in a way, it has its benefits and it has its disadvantages at the same time, Rachel. We really have to take a look at this issue and see what the and find a solution and really find a solution to the problem because it's thank you. Yeah, because I think some of these I think they need a lot more time in the academy. They need better training. They need more of what they need. These officers do their job. They need more legal training. They need in the United States it is. Because how long I think in some of these European countries they gotta be in the academy for like more than 6 months, 6 months to a year. Oh, wow. Yeah. I saw that on Alaska State Troopers too. Some, not all the cops are armed, so it's kind of a trade off. Ah, okay. Okay. I'm gonna go now. Feel free to leave a tip or something. I hope you have a good night. Anything else anyone would like to add before we go? Okay, have a good night. All right, till next time.